then turn off your camera. All right, hey, cool. We're going. So thanks for coming out tonight for our code talk, our coding conferences and hackathons edition. I'm super excited to have you all here. So I've been hearing from a lot of different codepanions, Flatiron students, that they've been going to different conferences. I know other people have told me about hackathons, and it seems like there's been a lot over the summer as well. So I asked a few people who I knew had attended some to come on and speak, and they were all down. So it's awesome. Thank you. It looks like we're still waiting on one, so hopefully she joins. But for now, we have Kazumi Karbowski here. She's going to speak a little bit. And Alwina Oyewole Turner. I really...
Very close.
Could you pronounce that correctly? I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's Oyewole Turner.
Okay, I was really close.
Yeah, you were really close. You did great.
And we're hoping that, sorry, I forget. Okay, Becca Harut-Weigel joins us later. I think I had harder time with her name than yours, Alwina. She did say she would be on, so hopefully she's just going to join us a little bit later. And then I'll share a little bit as well. And I think we're each going to talk for around 10 minutes. And then at the end have around 15 minutes or so for questions and answers. In the meantime, I just ask that all of you keep muted just to keep noise level down. If you do have questions as one presenter is speaking, feel free to type it in the chat, because in case you like forget it later, and we can go through it in order at the end when everyone's done presenting. And I don't know, I guess that's all there is to it. So Kazumi, would you like to kick us? Oh, also I'm going to try to take good notes as we go, but that'll be debatable at the end, who knows. So Kazumi, would you like to start us off?
Sure. Hi everybody, my name is Kazumi. So in less than a year, I've attended ReactConf in Las Vegas last October, RubyConf in Los Angeles last November maybe, Google Women Tech Makers in Pittsburgh, I can't remember what month that was, Ruby for Good last month, and Abstractions 2 last week. And I'm going to a Strange group in St. Louis next month, or wait, next month, yes, next month. So ReactConf was my first conference to attend, and it was a single track conference, meaning there's only one thing happening all day, like one room, and everybody goes to the same room. And the second one was RubyConf. That was a multi-track. There were, I believe, 4 different rooms, and the different talks were happening all day. And the ReactConf was, I believe, 2-day conference, and RubyConf might have been 3. And I can't say enough good things about RubyConf. And they are offering the scholarships right now. I think they're taking applications right now, and I haven't paid to go to any of those conferences that I've attended. I applied for their scholarships, and I was lucky enough to receive scholarships to attend all of them. Some of the conferences offer hotel and flights, like they cover the hotels and flights. So if you want to go to a conference that's out of town, I would highly recommend to check those out. What else? So RubyConf, we all learn Ruby, and there are a bunch of Flatiron students, Flatiron graduates who attend the conference. And if you become a scholar at RubyConf, they pair you with a guide. So somebody has been in industry, they're usually in a senior position, they know a bunch of people, they've been to RubyConf many times. So they will help you pick the right talks for you. They'll introduce you to people, and you talk to them beforehand. So even before you go in, you know somebody, because it can be intimidating to just show up to a big conference where you don't know anybody. My guide was great. He introduced me to Saran Itbalik from Code Newbie. Matt's the father of Ruby. I got to meet him. I got a selfie. So it was just great, and a bunch of other people. And I think there are probably the scholars and guys all together, there were about 8 to 10 Flatiron people, and we got to take pictures too, and that was great. But if you're interested, I think it's in Nashville this year, but I think their scholarship application is closing soon. It's a diversity ticket, so if you belong to any underrepresented groups, I highly recommend to apply. And I believe they give you if you get a scholarship, they give you a ticket. Sometimes they cover hotels and your flight, and a lot of I think maybe just the flight or part of the flights or something. But a lot of people found a roommate, and I found a roommate to cover the cost for the hotel. And I actually, before I started thinking about today's meeting, I started typing things out, and I decided to turn that into a blog. So I put all the information in my blog, and I'll post it at some point somehow. I don't know how, or if you message me, I'll send a link to you or something. Should I keep going? I don't want to.
Yeah, you got like 5 more minutes.
Oh, okay.
You could talk a little bit more about how you find the scholarships.
Yeah, so if you're not on Twitter, you need to be on Twitter. Like, I don't tweet all that much, but all the good information that I find about scholarship opportunities, most of them come from Twitter. I think I found out about ReactConf and RubyConf on Twitter, and also I will put in the chat later, but Diversified Tech Co, follow her, and she tweets about all kinds of conference information all the time. And if you find a conference that you want to attend, just keep checking back their website, maybe tweet at them. Ruby for Good was one of the conference that I really wanted to attend, and many people told me about it at RubyConf. So I was kind of checking back their website and following their tweet, and found out as soon as they posted that they were accepting a scholarship applications I applied. So I think if you find something that you want to go, check to see if they offer scholarships, because it gets really expensive. The scholarship, the conference tickets, sometimes 400. I know the abstraction too. The late ticket is $800, and I don't know how much the original one, but I think RubyConf is $400. So it's really expensive. So just try to see if they offer scholarships if you can't wing it. And also another way to attend is apply for volunteers. I know RubyConf was asking for volunteers too, and abstractions too. They gave out free tickets to people who put in at least 6 hours of their time. And I got the scholarship to attend, but I volunteered anyways, just to give back. And also that was a great way to meet people. So it was a great networking opportunity for me as well. And I think RubyConf, again, I think you need to put in like 4 to 6 hours, working at t-shirt station or checking in, or there are a lot of different things I think they have. And just try to see that. I think especially if they're in your town, I think it's a great way to meet people. And I met so many people just by volunteering. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Kazumi.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Alwina, do you want to go or do you want me to go next?
I think I'm ready to go.
All right, take it away.
All right. Okay. Hi, all. So I was just actually kind of curating or looking back to all the conferences that I've attended since I've started to learn how to code. I'm going to put it in the chat so y'all could go ahead and click on the links and get more information.
Hey, Alwina, real quick.
Yeah.
Your screen's got like smudge on the camera or something.
It does. Sure.
Yeah. We want to see your pretty face.
And if it's not that, it's also probably the lighting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let me see if I turn on this light. Does that help?
There you go. Thank you.
At least you can see me because I'm already dark. So, all right. So I just pasted in the chat a lot of the conferences that I've attended. Just to give you an idea, since I started attending conferences in 2017, I've been to Code Newbies 3 times. Each of those times I've paid for my ticket just because I wanted to support Saran. I had attended her meetup, which she had a meetup for Code Newbies here in New York. And then when I found out about the conference, I decided, sure, why not? My sister and I have been to that conference 3 times. Then there's Tech Inclusion. They had a conference at Viacom. And a lot of the conferences, I will say, are in New York City just because I'm in New York. So it just makes it easier for me to go to. But by all means, if you find that you can get, Kazumi said, a diversity ticket or volunteer or whatever, then definitely by all means. I found out about Tech Inclusion through Tech Ladies. I'm a founding member for that group, and the founder had sent a link to a few of us who were interested in diversity conferences. And so I went to this one also in 2017. Write Speak Code. I just gave a general link to their website. I've been to meetup groups. They had a Own Your Experience workshop here in New York City. Just to note, Write Speak Code is primarily or really only for women and non-binary coders. So sorry to the guys on the group, but it is really only just for women and non-binary or people who represent themselves as they or they're there. I've been to also their conference that was here in New York City last year as well. Grace Hopper Conference. Now that's like the big one. And sorry guys, again, it is also only for women, but they do have a live stream happening this year for their conference. So you can probably watch some of the conference talks online. And you can also submit your resume to the database, even if you're not at the conference this year. So please, by all means, you are finishing up with the program or you want to get a jump start on your finding a job, please submit it to the resume database, and just click on the link. You should be able to get you there. So I went last year. I received a complimentary ticket to attend Grace Hopper conference, and that was in Houston, and that ticket is about $1,150, so $1,150. So I was very thankful to get that ticket. Someone actually posted it in a meetup group, and I saw it. I clicked on the link. It's a really long application, but it's worth it because the amount of content and people you meet and so forth is really amazing. Small tidbit. Anita Hill, if anyone remembers, she was a how do you call it? She was, I think, like an intern or something like that for Justice Clarence Thomas, and had accused him of sexual misconduct when he was running or being confirmed for Supreme Court justice. And so I got to hear her speak over almost over 27 years later, almost to the date, because that was the same week as the confirmation hearing for the last Supreme Court justice, who of course still became confirmed, but he also had the same sexual misconduct allegation against him. Anyway, moving on. So fast forward to this year, I also got another ticket to attend Grace Hopper conference, but this time I got the Untapped Pathways grant, and that is a complete ride to Grace Hopper, and it's Orlando, Florida, and it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Full Stack 2020. That was another ticket that I received a free ticket for. That was here in New York, but Full Stack started in London. So I got that ticket. I would encourage everyone to apply, especially if you're underrepresented in tech. I think, and I mean, I'm saying this and just look at it from my perspective. I'm a Black woman, and there was maybe 3 other Black people there, and I was only talking to 2 of them, and I'm talking about Black women. Like, I didn't see others. So I encourage you, if you are, please, by all means, apply for these things because they're there for everyone to enjoy. But, don't feel like you shouldn't apply for these conference tickets. Refactr.tech is in Atlanta. I also received a diversity ticket for that one. That one, it wasn't just a diversity conference. I mean, that was the big part about it, but there was everyone that was there, and it didn't matter, whether you were Black, white, woman, part of the LGBT community, disabled, whatever. It was a pretty reasonable conference with food and everything. It was awesome. Connected with people from Google, Netflix, MailChimp, Ultimate Software, the Home Depot was there. Just a ton of awesome companies. And then I gave a few more links to JSConf. I had put in for a ticket to JSConf EU, but I did not get a ticket for that. That one was going to be, I think, in Belgium or something like that. But if you go to that link, there's all the JSConf conferences that are happening around the world. And then I gave another link to Steph Smith. I think this is how I found out about a few conferences that I attended this year. And then Kazumi also mentioned Diversified Tech. Code with Veni, or Veni Kunche. She's amazing. She has a really great blog. It is geared towards women in tech. But I also saw something on Twitter the other day where, some people are like, what about stuff for so-and-so? And so I encourage you, if you can, go ahead, go online to Twitter to Diversified Tech, and follow Veni, look up her blogs. The the stuff that she curates, it's amazing. I'm just like, I don't know how she does it. But it's awesome because she's giving back to community, and that's really helpful. And then, like I said, meetup groups are another way to find out about conferences. And I think that's it. If y'all have anything else, or if you have any other questions or whatever.
Dropped a lot of info all at once.
Sorry.
That's awesome.
So I see, if you don't mind, I'll just answer this question from Liz. Are these conferences good for newbies to attend, or are they geared more towards more established coders? Every conference I've attended is geared for, I will say the tech inclusion one I felt like, because I was still early in my journey, I felt like that one was more geared towards people more senior than me. And it was really for people who are like decision makers in the tech industry. But it was good to kind of connect with people because I like networking and stuff. So that was, good to go to. But everything else, like the full stack NYC one, I didn't know a ton, but the information was really good. And I got to meet Tracy Lee of Modern Web. She gave a great keynote on, diversity and inclusion in tech. And then, so far for everything else that I've attended, they have tracks for people who are, relatively new to coding, or to the tech industry in general. So, yeah. Oh, and then, obviously Code Newbies, Code Land, that's 100% for newbies. So, and if you can, please come next year. You have to. It's an amazing conference.
I had a quick question. Do you know when let me see which one of these I was interested in. Do you know when that one in New York is taking place?
Which one is that? The Full Stack NYC?
Yeah.
That one is going to happen May 14th to the 15th next year.
Yeah, because I'd be interested definitely in that one. Have you ever gone to any of the ones in New Haven before?
In where?
In New Haven. They have a few in New Haven that they have.
Nah.
I went to some I can't remember. It was like a meetup or something, and it was just programmers and stuff in the area, and they all seem to be from around New Haven for some reason. And
yeah. No, I'm sorry. So Eric, where are you located?
In Connecticut.
Oh, you're in Connecticut.
But in New York, it's only a half an hour train ride into the city. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. For me, no, I haven't been to anything in New Haven or have heard of anything in New Haven. And I live in Long Island, so the chances of me going outside of New York City, unless it's to travel, are very, very slim. But like you said, it's a very quick ride back into New York City from New Haven. So.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. So it's not until next May, you said?
Yeah, next May.
So I gotta wait a while.
Yeah.
Find something else in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's tons of stuff. And everyone just please, as you can, stay tuned. Like Kazumi said, stay tuned to what's happening. If you're following some of these conferences on Twitter, they'll let you know when call for proposals are opening or when the tickets are available or, there's a diversity scholarship or there's a scholarship just in general, please apply, just stay tuned to that and you'll find, you'll be able to get something, get more information.
Yeah, but that's a good thing to look for when you see call for proposal. That means they're starting to get people together to talk. So that's when you really start checking in all the time. So Becca is here now. Hello.
I'm so sorry about that. I had something before this and
it's okay.
30.
Happens to the best of us. We had Kazumi present earlier and she talked about scholarships and 2, 3, 4, 6, 5 and 2B6 different conferences she's attended. So you can take it away. You'll have around 10 minutes. So go ahead.
Okay, so I've been to a handful of conferences, and I don't know if anyone mentioned Revolution Conf, but that was the first one I went to in Virginia Beach, and it was so newbie friendly. Not just the talks; they had a variety of talks, 3 different tracks, and then just the people. There was a lot of encouragement to talk in between too. So I was able to meet some really great developers there, and I was really new at the time, and very nervous about being at my first conference. But it turned out to be really great connections that I made because I spoke at my first conference this year, and it was really important that I met those people because they kind of helped to get me there. So after talking to a lot of people at the conference, they said, you should speak. It sounds like you have something to talk about. I thought, well, I'm a little bit nervous about that. But then as I started to grow as a coder, I thought, you know what, maybe I am ready for this. I taught for 10 years prior to coding, so I felt natural being in front of a group of people. But then I started to write my proposals, and I was getting a lot of no's. And I'm like, okay, maybe I don't have anything to say. And I'm not talking about, technical code things. I'm talking more about building community or the journey into the coding process. So I thought, okay, well, maybe people just don't want to hear that. But I think that that's not true. And so 2 things really helped me as I was writing my latest proposals. And the first was I was asked to review proposals for a conference. And so I got to go through, I think, 35 proposals, and it really helped me to kind of see what's important when you're writing a proposal. And it's not, there are some things that can be really frustrating if you're reading someone's proposal. It's like, I haven't thought this through all the way, but, or I just really want to rant about this right now. I can't tell you how many of those I read. I'm like, no, thanks. Or things that weren't fully developed that I thought like, okay, this is really interesting, but this might just be a blog post. This might not be a full talk. So thinking about framing a proposal in terms of what are people interested in? Does it go beyond a blog post? Is there a reason for you to talk about this and to present your ideas? And then how can this help the community? And so I think that almost at every stage of coding, if somebody has something that's worth value, and so don't think if you're new that you don't have something to say. It's helpful. I think Saran has a early code newbies episode where she talks about writing proposals, and it's really interesting to kind of hear her break down, and it's worth going back and finding that episode. But why are you talking about this? And so also with that, you should kind of have, when you're writing a proposal, a beginning, a middle, and an end. So think about it in terms of like you're telling a story. The first part of the story is, why should somebody be interested in the story? The middle kind of develops that, and that's where you give your examples or you give the meaty part of what you want to say. And then the end of the story is, wraps everything up. Maybe that's the end of your journey, or you just kind of tie all of those ideas together. So that's really important. And so then the second thing that really helped me to write my CFP that was eventually accepted at a couple of different conferences was one of the people that I met at Revolution Conf. I knew that he had been involved in a lot of conference speaking. He had done it all over the world, I think. And so I had mentioned to him that I was having a hard time, and he said, hey, you know what? I can help you. Here is the repo of all of my talks, and he had them labeled. So the ones that his new talks, the ones that had been accepted, and the ones that had been rejected. And that was really nice to be able to go through and see, okay, like this one was accepted. I can see there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. This is really interesting. It has a catchy title, because catchy titles always get in there. And then the ones that were rejected were usually the ones that were less developed than the other ones. And so when I went through, I think my proposal talk maybe was like 2 or 3 short paragraphs, but just kind of breaking it up in that way. And I was accepted to 2. I can't remember. One was it was a new conference. I think it was a JavaScript conference, but I can't remember, in Ohio. But I had to turn it down because it was the same weekend as another conference that I was invited to. So I guess that weekend liked me. So I just spoke at Mid-Atlantic Developers Conference in Baltimore. And it was really nice. And I will say that I was super nervous prior to doing it. And I just kind of like blanked right in the middle. Like, first of all, my muscles started twitching right before. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just like want to run out this door. What am I doing? So I think that if you are nervous, it's okay. It's normal. But then in the middle, I thought I was running out of time, but really I wasn't running out of time. Anyway, it still went okay. And the reason why I know that it went okay is because I talked about community and code. And so many people came up to me afterwards and asked me more questions, and they wanted to know how they can go more in depth with the topic. And so for me, it was basically talking about my journey, and not even just in coding. So I talked about how good and positive communities are built and why that's important. And then I took examples from my previous work life, and then I applied them to what I'm doing today, and all the way up to, you know, learning to code, how it's influenced finding my first job and what my first job has looked like as a result of positive community. And so I think that, you know, knowing that you have something valuable to say and that people are asking questions, and then somebody who organizes 2 other conferences asked me to submit to those as well, because he thought that it would be good for the topics that they look for. And so I think that, you know, one of the great things about being able to present in front of people, even if you're scared, is that there's like automatic community that's created in there, and automatic networking too. So I met so many people through that. And then, you know, I have like this nice little community of people who are talking about building positive communities. And so like what you're talking about will automatically help you to grow that space that you're talking about. So, you know, if you want to be talking about, I don't know, React hooks or something, and you want to learn more or hear what people have to say about that, then you have this built-in audience that stems from that you now are connected to. So I honestly don't know how long that was.
That's so awesome, Becca. Like, I just keep going. Seriously, if you have more to say, keep going, because I was wondering how you did at the conference.
Yeah. So, okay. So here's the other thing that I want to say. So, I had practiced on Code Talk a couple weeks beforehand, and I had tried to do it with an outline, and I just like kept stumbling through it, and I didn't feel really good about the way that went. And so I made the decision to read it. And I know some people are like, don't read it, it's terrible. And I've been to some talks where I'm like, they're reading it, this is terrible. But I think that you do what's comfortable for you, and if you have something valuable to say. So for me, like, I was used to lecturing from notes for 10 years, so I wasn't just straight reading. I was able to look at my audience and kind of go from there. But the most important thing is that you're presenting a group of people with something that can benefit them and that can help people in the room and the code community. So, you know, it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to not do, like, I don't know. Sometimes I think like I have to have my best performance, right? And, you know, when you're new at something, you work your way up, right? And so my husband is also a speaker. He's spoken about lots of code related topics, and I watched him speak, and it's really natural for him. Like, he has slides, he doesn't have to read from notes, and that's great. But he's also been doing this, you know, 2 years longer than I have. So, you know, I like hope to progress there, but also just don't think that you aren't ready because maybe you're not that person who's up there and animated. Or like, I saw a guy this weekend who was just like telling jokes about code, and I'm like, I want to be that guy that tells jokes about code, except the woman version. But it's a process. Just like learning how to code is a process, I think learning how to speak about code and at tech conferences is that process as well. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, that is so awesome, Becca. Oh my gosh. How was the Mid-Atlantic conference in general, like the other sessions and just the general vibe? Because that's a huge deal on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It wasn't my favorite conference. Revolution Conf was hands down my favorite conference that I've been to, but this one was good, and it had a wide variety of things, and also workshops too. I didn't go to any of the workshops, but I know sometimes that's fun. You get to learn a lot. And all of the speakers seemed to be really well prepared, so you didn't walk into a session where someone's like, I just wrote this last night, which I don't appreciate usually. But so, yeah, I learned a lot. There were a handful of talks about ethics, and that was really cool because I like hearing about ethics. There were a lot of Kubernetes talks, which I always just clear Kubernetes because it scares me. But the people were really nice. Like the facility had this big banquet hall, so there's a lot of like eating meals together, and I just really enjoy and appreciate the times when you can be around other people from the conference and talk to them. So it was a good conference. I would probably go back.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you, Becca.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and sorry you like had to rush to get here.
Oh, it's not your fault. It's 100% my fault. So I apologize to everybody.
Cool. So okay, I'm going last. So out of all these people, I've definitely been to the least amount of conferences, but that's okay because I'm going to start going more for sure. Especially since I happened to run into Kazumi at Ruby for Good, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're here in person. I definitely know you. We've seen each other on the computer before. So that was like a really funny coincidence. And she told me all about these scholarships and all this cool stuff she's been doing and these awesome learning experiences and opportunities she's had for free. And it's crazy. It's amazing. And actually, that's pretty much what really sparked my idea to do this. But Ruby for Good was, I think, the first, like, I don't know, bigger type conference / hackathon. It's focuses on, it's kind of, I think it's more of a hackathon because it's not, there isn't presentations. It's a group of people that gets together to work on projects for social good, and it meets down in the DC area. And there's, I think there was 7 or 8 different projects, and these organizations submit beforehand. The people that volunteer for Ruby for Good go through, evaluate them, and pick which ones they'd like to focus on for this year. So we had some, one was for Habitat for Humanity, another was for a diaper bank, one was for a library for lending out baby carriers to wear, for parents to wear. And the one I worked on with my team was for restoring coral reefs. And it was so cool. Like, the people there were super nice, like going in not knowing hardly anything compared to these people. It was just like a wonderful experience. And in this hackathon style environment, I kind of think that because there's the pressure of time, you didn't really have people sitting down and being like, well, since you're new, I'm going to teach you this and that, because it's like we have a weekend to get XYZ done. But they are aware, it's kind of like the first day, where's everybody at? What's your skill level? Okay, so who can do what? So people are mindful of where each team member can fit in. And I think I also learned things along the way, as far as like we'd break for lunch and then at the end of the day for dinner, and we'd stop like 15 minutes before and do a retrospective and talk about what we've done and where maybe we should make changes. And just doing that is learning, and having those deadlines. And even when I came back from that, I had been working on my Rails project for 4 weeks, and I came back from that and I was like using stuff I had learned in my Rails project. That was my first actual go away and stay overnight and do stuff kind of conference hackathon thing. And it was amazing. I would totally do it again. I'm definitely going again next year. I paid for it. I paid like, I think it was $250. And but it was worth every dollar. And I just, like, there's really no experience like it. It's definitely something everyone should try once if you have the means to. And one more thing I did want to mention, and this is actually something that people can go to around the country. I'm not sure if it's free around the country, but I know it is in the Philadelphia area. It's called SQL Saturday, and it comes to the Philadelphia area every May. And last May, well, 2 Mays ago, I had gone and done it, and that was a month before I started Flatiron. I heard about it, and I was just like, oh, it's free. I'll go. I'll check it out, see what's going on. And everything over my head, everything. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, okay, well, that was interesting and overwhelming. All right. And then this year, I went again, and just the difference between this year and last year was incredible. It's like I understand this stuff now because I learned it in Flatiron. So that's another thing. If it's like something close and affordable or free, just do it. Just go to it. Like, you can meet people. Like, since then, I had a whole year to network. I ran into, like, I think 3 people there that I had known. I didn't even know they were going to be there. I actually, when I was at that SQL Saturday, I tweeted about it. This is another thing with Twitter. I tweeted about it and used the hashtag SQL Saturday. Someone saw my tweet and they looked at my GitHub and liked my projects. So they found me on LinkedIn, sent me a message, and asked me to interview for a job. And, like, that's just unreal, you know? Like, you never know what's going to happen. So if you can, like, go to something, just do it. So I don't know. I guess that's my takeaway. If you can make it to something, do it. Just like apply to everything. These ladies had told you about these awesome scholarships. I just wrote the other day, there's this thing down in Florida. It got bounced back to me, so I have to find a different email. But I wrote to them, there's not even a scholarship available, but I'm like, hey, I'm going to ask anyway. And if they don't have scholarship, I'm going to say, like, because I work in social media marketing, I'm going to say, well, if you don't have scholarship, I'll live tweet for you the whole conference, like, and I can like figure out flight and hotel if you just give me a ticket. You know, just try, just keep pushing, because the worst you can get is no. So, oh, Alina just put a link in the chat. I think that's, I mean, all I have to say. I think just from talking with a lot of people in the whole networking thing, talking with a lot of students, I find that people don't like push. People don't like to be pushy about asking for things. And I'm a total believer in like being your own advocate. And so that's another thing I'd just like to stress, you know, just ask, just make the ask and be okay with being rejected, because it's not going to be the last time you hear no in your life. It's only them that's missing out, because if you're like that progressive to try and get there, like you're bringing something to the table. So I guess we've had a lot of people present and drop a lot of good info. Mine was mostly philosophical. Does anybody have
Meg.
questions?
Hey, Meg.
Alina, yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to share super quick. So I just dropped the 2 links. Wendy had mentioned that the Anita Borg Grace Hopper conference, there's the complimentary tickets are open again. And it's only through August 30th. So that's this Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So if you want to go ahead and try to register for a comp ticket, please, by all means, go ahead. Just keep in mind, the eligibility for this is you have to be a woman from one of the underrepresented groups. So that means African American, Black, Hispanic, Latino, Native American, Alaska Native, Native Hawaiian, or Pacific Islander. And then I also dropped in the link to Google. Google does give like conference and travel scholarships pretty much all over the world. But for the ones that are specifically in North America, I provided that link to that page. And so there's several scholarships that are still available, or the deadline is coming up soon if you are interested in going to any of those conferences before the end of this year. That's it.
I noticed that like a lot of for some reason, like a lot of the university trained people in coding use like Python a lot. Like they're trained traditionally in Python. I noticed for some reason, like where I'm at, like a lot, I don't know, like a lot of them will come from all sorts of places. Sometimes you'll have people from like programs like Flatiron, and then sometimes you'll have people from like, you know, like NYC or like University of New York or University of Connecticut. And it seems like they're taught in their curriculum in the school system for computer science, like Python. And I was kind of always wondering why didn't Flatiron like touch on a little bit of Python? You know what I mean?
Well, Flatiron has Python in their data science program.
Oh, I saw it was like JavaScript. Everybody uses JavaScript, obviously. And, but I don't know, that's just something I noticed because I've gone to a few like meetups around like Connecticut and New York. And like a lot of times when I go there, they're always kind of like communicating in Python. And
I think it really varies because I know at the last conference I went to, which was tech agnostic, I didn't meet anyone that was doing Python, or maybe that was the Baltimore one, but everybody there was mostly doing JavaScript or front end work. So I think like it depends on the conference and the meetup and the location, but there's a variety of jobs out there.
Yeah, I think JavaScript's probably the safest bet for everybody because everybody uses JavaScript. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like that's why I felt like because I was going to a few meetups, and there's definitely hackathons around this area, but I just noticed a lot of them were using like Python, and I didn't feel comfortable because I didn't really like know Python at all. And like when I go there, I just kind of like watch and stuff, which is fine, I guess. But
Hey, Eric, where are you in the program right now?
I'm on SQL. Which
Okay.
also, honestly, that's a great, I wouldn't mind focusing on SQL as well because like databasing is really big. I
Mhm.
mean, SQL is like, I feel like if you can pick like one thing to hone in on, like with your job searching, like that might be the better way to go about it. But I'm not obviously completed the program and I'm not, I haven't gone for a coding interview, but I know that there's like every company out here, like in Connecticut, New York, there's like, you look at the companies and there's like 30 coding jobs in that company just open right now that have been open for like 12 months because they don't have enough people like with that skill. And it's like such a, like intensive skill. You need to know what you're doing, right, to get the job. So,
Do you like SQL?
oh hell yeah. I honestly wouldn't mind focusing in on SQL because every database uses it. Amazon Web Service, Microsoft, Google. It's like very basic building blocks of databasing. Um, but that's only the section I'm in now. Obviously, I mean I haven't gotten to where you guys are at. Even like you said, you're on like Rails and like more
Yeah.
down the
It's
line.
just funny because like normally people are kind of like just get through it. And I know when I was in SQL, they're like, if you like this, look into DBA jobs because like database administration is makes bank, and that's
Dude,
like
it's boring. It's probably
specialization.
mad boring, but there's a lot of need for it out there. Like I've noticed, and like I don't really care. I mean, I sit at a desk all day anyway, so I mean, a desk is a desk, really. You're just doing different things at a
Um,
desk, right?
Eric, I think I hear what you're saying. And probably the reason why a lot of people up where you are use Python is it's really it's like a multi-purpose language. It's not like Ruby where it's just like Ruby's probably more for like your Rails kind, like not Rails, but like your web applications. But Python, you can use it for the web, but then you can also use it for data science, and that's probably why a lot of people use Python.
Right.
Before we go, I saw one more question in the chat, and I'm not sure if I'm saying your name correctly, Amit, but I think that if you attend conferences, it is a great way for you to connect with people. I have a potential interview coming up in like maybe 2 months, and now it's because I went to Refactr.tech. I went to a dinner that they had afterwards, and after the conference, and it led to me having a call with the recruiter. So I think that if you do go to conferences and connect with people, and you can ask Wendy or if Adil was on this call, I will walk you around to recruiters, especially if I know you're looking for a job, and connect you with them. So I hope that answers your question, Amit. And let me know if I'm saying your name wrong.
I want to add to that. I think
Thanks.
I really enjoy talking to the recruiters when I'm at the conferences because that's what they're there to do. So I'm kind of an introvert and I'm really shy. So to like know somebody is there just to talk to me makes me feel more comfortable. But I met a lot of really great recruiters, and I even talked to like the Apple recruiters at the last conference. And I said, I'm really new. I've just started working in July. And they're like, no, you should just go ahead and apply. Like we're taking all levels. So, don't be worried that you're not ready for the job. So I think that certainly that can help you find a job, but also through the other people you meet and the network you develop. My job came through Twitter, so I think that there's a lot of networking that you can do online too if you can't attend conferences.
Yeah, I've noticed, I mean, I've talked to people also that, like, for example, I have a relative who, he went into IT. He was doing like drone stuff in the military. When he got out of the Air Force, he went into like IT because they're kind of like IT intensive in the Air Force for some reason. And he got a job like at a developer outside of Tampa, and he didn't even like really know any code, and they taught him on the job like how to do coding. So there are definitely like people out there that will take a shot at like new talent or whatever, and give you a shot and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Amit, just to fourth that I guess.
I actually have an interview tomorrow, so I'm like freaking out too. So, so yeah, no, it's a lot of information. I appreciate all the information. Definitely, I'm going to look forward to going to another conference.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be a conference, like just a meetup or any event. Like, just go and strike up a conversation with someone. That's all. You never know. I did that at a networking event, and it turned out I was talking with the CTO of a company for 20 minutes. And like we were in touch, like I'll email him back and forth. So he's a really nice guy, you know?
Yeah. I live in New York City too, so like a ton of meetups here. I haven't been to one yet, but definitely have pretty soon.
Don't they have like a lot of these WeWork things too, where you can like get together with people and code or something now too also? I haven't been to one honestly, but they're kind of like meetups, right? What's called WeWork.
Oh yeah. I think sometimes
They might have even bought Flatiron. I'm not even sure, honestly. I mean, I know that they're like linked with them somehow, but
WeWork owns Flatiron School now.
Oh, really?
And just for everyone, I just shared the links to the conferences that I attended previously in the chat again for those who came in later and missed the first set of links. So please see again the links I just included.
And I have them in my notes, which they'll go up, and I'm gonna put, we have a Slack channel called Code Talk. So that'll go up tomorrow, the notes and the link to the video recording. Were there any other questions about like conferences, hackathons, even networking, since we're kind of breaching that subject? Going once, going twice. All right, good, because I got another piece of pizza that I want to eat. So thank you guys for coming out, guys and girls. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Glad you all liked it. And thanks thanks for being interactive through chat and speaking. And thank you to our presenters as well for volunteering to come on and talk a little bit about your experiences. Becca, I'm really glad to hear that it went well.
Thank you. And I'm sorry again that I was late.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm just glad you made it. I was like, oh, I hope nothing happened. Like, oh, okay.
Well, my kids started school today, and also I didn't think they were starting school today, so.
Oh yeah, those.
Yeah, I found out like last week that they started today instead of Wednesday. So.
What question? You said Twitter helped you. Who did you follow on Twitter?
So I didn't even follow anybody. So the guy that followed me, who was familiar with my coding journey and worked for a small consultancy, a remote consultancy, I I graduated from Flatiron. I waited a week and then I put out like, I'm looking for a job. This is what I do.
Right.
Here's a link to my portfolio. And then I got some responses and he had emailed me and said, listen, I looked at your GitHub and I've read your blogs. I think that you'd be a really great fit. Do you want to work for us? And I was like,
Oh, that's awesome.
awesome. But I think like, you know, I developed a community of people over my last year of working through Flatiron. So I was able to like have a large enough network, and that was kind of my goal. Like I love tweeting, but the ultimate goal was to use that as a network to find a job. I don't get out often to conferences. I have never been to a meetup. So for me, that was the biggest way that I could network. And I had, you know, a spreadsheet based off of all the leads and responses I had got from that tweet. But that job just happened to be perfect for me because it was remote, flexible, and work as much as I want. So like
that's my goal also, to do remote.
Yeah. So it's out there. And I know that some people discourage first-time developers in remote positions, but everything has been going really well. So.
Oh, that's great. Oh, good luck.
Thank you.
All the best.
I totally
Also-
agree about the Twitter thing
Yeah.
and also GitHub and all that, because recruiters for like Google Cloud and like Microsoft, obviously Microsoft owns GitHub now, they'll like go through that stuff and like look for people. So if you're like on there talking about it, sometimes they'll just get a recruiter talk to you sometimes. So, you know, you just need to have the skills. And so I definitely think like those, specifically Twitter is probably a really good source for recruiting and stuff like this.
For Natalie, and I think for everyone, just also I just included all the 3 Twitter handles for Veni Kuche, who does the Code with Veni and Diversify.tech. So that's her personal Twitter, and then the one for Diversify.tech and Code with Veni. If y'all want to just go ahead and get those, and then follow her.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter now, so I was looking for people to follow. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem. Oh yeah, and then Higher Tech Ladies. Allison Medina is amazing.
Got it.
And then now I hear like Microsoft's trying to develop something like Slack, like an alternative to Slack, because they couldn't buy Slack. So now they just want to like basically drown out the competition or something. I mean, this field is like so big. It's just going to be like anybody trying to get into it in the next 20 years, 30 years. As long as you can get the skill down, you'll eventually do well at it, I feel like.
Yeah. And we're getting it down right now. All right. So on that note, on that celebration note, and Amit, you got this. You're going to rock it tomorrow. You're going to get an offer or a handshake like, we're going to call you. Like that.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Yep.
Good luck.
Good luck, Amit.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all the information.
All right. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks, Megan.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye. Thank you.